What is going on, guys? Today in this video, this may possibly be the best video I've ever made on this channel when it comes to value and what you're going to learn, because in this video we're going to be talking about every single step, everything you need to know if you guys want to sell on Amazon in 2019. So this is for all of my beginners out there who are thinking about starting Amazon and don't know for sure what it's about yet or what they need to know about it. So I'm going to be giving you guys the whole shebang from everything from start to finish that you are going to need to know if you want to sell in this upcoming year of 2019. And I'm super excited for 2019 because it should be an awesome year, another great year of being an Amazon seller. So now I'm going to take you guys onto Excel and we're going to break down the 6 steps that I created for you guys so you guys understand exactly how this whole Amazon selling business idea works. Okay, so I wasn't sure where to put my face, so I went ahead and just put it right below what I'm going to be talking about. That way you guys can even focus more on what I'm talking about at the moment. So here we go, guys. This is the Amazon FBA Beginner's Guide for 2019. I hope you guys are all excited, especially if you guys are new into this, because I remember how fun it was when I first started. So I'm sure you guys are feeling the same thing, maybe a little bit nervous, a little bit worried, but also I'm sure you are very, very excited. So we're going to start with step number 1. I'm going to be talking about 6 steps right now. They're going to be pretty generalized 6 steps. And then after the 6 steps, we're going to break down a bunch of other different things that you guys need to know that a lot of other YouTubers are not talking about. So it's very important that you guys know this. That way you really know what you're getting into and you have no surprises along the way, and that way you're not looking back on it and saying, oh, I wish I knew that, or oh, I didn't know I had to do that, because there are a lot of those moments with a lot of people on YouTube. Trust me, I get comments like that all the time, like they have no idea what I'm talking about. So like I said, step number 1, we're going to call it funding, business plan, and mindset. And this is one of the most important. I'm not actually going to say that because every single step I'm probably going to say this is one of the most important, because when it comes to Amazon selling, every step must be done perfectly, properly, and correctly, or else everything else is going to be messed up. So every step is very important in its own way, but this one is right off the bat gonna make or break whether you should start this business or not. Because trust me, if you are not the right person for this, I don't want you to start this business just to save you the heartache and time and money or whatever. So number 1 is funding, business plan, and mindset. That means make sure you have the money to start this business. So that means come up with a spreadsheet of all the different funding you're going to need, know exactly what you're going to be spending on what certain things, how much certain things cost. And I will leave a card up top for you guys because I broke down how much it costs to be an Amazon seller in another video of mine. So up top, if you guys want to know how to come up with a good plan funding idea, I will have that video up top. So know exactly how much you're going to be spending, where you're going to be spending it, how much certain things cost. You need to understand that before you get started. That way later on you don't get mad at yourself. Also, business plan, that means watching a video like this, so understanding how everything works very well. And next is going to be business plan. So that means you understand how it all works. You have an idea of what your goal is and what you're going to try to accomplish and what time frame, different things like that. And if you guys don't have a mentor or someone teaching you or a course to follow, then I highly recommend that you get one. That way you really have someone holding your hand. Just make sure that they are not going to give you one-word answers, and make sure that they're going to give you in detail help, and they're actually going to respond very quickly. And hopefully everything in the course is up to date and they have a lot of good information, and they are really going to focus on you and get you to succeed. And the last thing here we have is mindset. So that means make sure your mind's right. Make sure that you know that you're not a lazy person. If you're a lazy person, then all businesses will not be meant for you. You should just stick to a normal job. If you aren't a lazy person, then this would be great for you. And if you know you're hardworking, you're determined, you're motivated, self-motivated, because you are now a business owner. So you need to make sure you are self-motivated. And please do not lie to yourself. If you guys think that you are not right for this, then don't do it. Save yourself the heartache, save yourself the, the money, and like I said, the time. But if you do think you are meant for this and you think you're a hard worker, you're motivated, you're determined, you're all these different things, then go ahead. This is totally for you. This is great and you're going to love it. Now, before we continue with the video, here we are on my YouTube homepage. And if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel right here. We are at 3,851, and I love updating this every week when I make a video because it's always rising. And I love all your guys' support and you guys commenting on the videos and emailing me all these nice things. And I really appreciate it. It's what keeps me going. And if you guys want to get into my private course with my mentorship, or just get my mentorship alone, then here's my private email, and it is askrileyturner@gmail.com. Both my mentorship and my course and mentorship are both private, so you need to email me to get in. So if you guys are interested in investing in your business, yourself, and your future, then definitely email me and I will give you more information about how it works. And I'm sure I will talk a little bit about what I offer my private students while I'm making this video and while I'm continuing it. So that's it, and let's get back into the video. Okay, so I scrolled down a little bit. Now we are on step 2, and this is going to be another huge portion of what you're going to be doing, and that's going to be product research. Make sure you know what you're doing. There is so many different strategies, so much criteria that you need to know, and I'm not kidding. I have in my course that I teach to my private students, I believe for product research alone, I have 20 videos on product research, probably about, I would say, maybe 4 hours of video about product research alone. So there is a lot of information. Once again, the whole point of this video is I don't want you guys to feel like you forgot anything or left anything out before you got started. So I want everything out there on the table for you guys. I'm going to put it all out there on the table for you guys, so that way you guys know exactly what you're getting into. So once again, we're going to go over these steps pretty quickly, and then at the very end, I'm going to give you all the details. So like I said, product research, tons of strategies, tons of criteria that you need to know. This is very important because once again, every single step is going to make or break your success. So if you have a bad product you're selling, then you're going to fail. So you need to know exactly how to find a good product, what a good product looks like, and what sort of markets you guys can go for. And there is a lot of information that you need to know. And step number 3 is finding a supplier. So this means you know how to go on AliExpress, Alibaba, or any of these other companies, and you know how to search for suppliers, know what good suppliers look like, because certain ones are bad and you don't want to work with them. So you need to know how to find a good supplier, how to communicate with them, how to negotiate with them, how to sound professional, how to make sure that the supplier will take you seriously and think you're a legit company. Once again, a ton of information goes into this section as well, finding a supplier, and this is also a make or break. If you have a bad supplier, you will have a horrible experience if you do not know what to look for and how to sort out good ones and bad ones. Also, the products itself, you need to know how to get samples, you need to know how to negotiate on certain things, that way you get your pricing down, because every penny adds up. You need to know how to ask them for certain things, because I have an entire email template with probably 10 to 15 questions that you need to ask your supplier before you even work with them, and every single question is crucial if you guys want to succeed as well. Okay, step 4 is going to be shipping plan. I have it cut off a little bit, scroll down a little bit more. So shipping plan. Now this is another very complicated one. If you know what you're doing and if you learn from the right person, it's not complicated, so don't be scared. But you need to know a ton of different terms, because shipping is kind of like another language, to be honest. So you need to know all the different terms and abbreviations. That way you sound like you know what you're doing, and that way you don't have to ask your supplier what that means. So there's FOB, DDP, LCL, a lot of different ones like that, EXW. So all those different things, you need to know what they mean, because your supplier or freight forwarder is going to be using these terms, and if you guys don't know what they mean, you're going to look very dumb, and we don't want to look dumb because we want to get good prices and we want to get treated properly. There's also different shipping processes you can go with. So you can go with sea shipping, air shipping. You need to know how much each one costs, that way you don't get ripped off. And you also need to know what freight forwarder you're working with. You need to know how to create your shipping plan on Amazon, because that's a whole nother process. All these things need to be very specifically done and done properly if you want to be successful. Trust me, I've seen people leave comments on my videos or email me, and some of the times I get pretty scared because it sounds like they do not know what they're doing. That's why it's important to have a course or a mentor or someone that you know will guide you and make sure you're doing the right thing. Now, step 5 is going to be listing creation and optimization, and this is also a huge one. They all are. I'm not going to say it again, I promise. And listing creation means that you guys know how to get on Amazon, Seller Central, and you guys need to know how to create your first listing and how to optimize it. And that means you need to know how to optimize everything, like your title, your keywords, your description, your bullet points, everything like that, your pictures. So if you guys have all that in order and done optimized, then your chances of success and your sales will be a lot higher. So you don't just want to know the basics of how to create a listing or the basics of shipping or the basics of product research, because then you're going to be a basic seller, and we don't want to be a basic seller. We want to make sure that you are doing everything the best you can be doing, so that way you get the results of a top seller and you know just as much as them and you know how to do everything correctly. And a lot of people don't know that, and that is very important if you want to make a lot of money. Now, step 6 is going to be the last one, and then we're going to get into the details that nobody tells you about, and that is going to be product launching and advertising. So that means you know everything about how to launch your product successfully, and we're going to go more in detail about product launching in specific down below when we get into the details, like I said, that nobody talks about. So product launch, very important. Advertisement, very important. If you guys don't know how to do these, then you will fail. That's the answer to all these steps. If you don't know how to do them, you will fail. And you guys can't just put this aside and say, oh, I don't need to advertise. I don't need to do a product launch, because you need to do it if you want to succeed in 2019 especially. Okay, so now I have the red writing, and this is going to be steps and topics you need to know, exclamation point. So all these different things are going to be things that a lot of people don't talk about, and things that you need to consider before you start. Because if you don't consider these things, like I said, you're going to look back and say, oh, I didn't know that, or oh, I wish I knew that, or oh, I didn't know I had to do that. So I'm trying to make sure that that does not happen, and I want you guys to know exactly what you are doing and what you're getting into. So the first one I have here is product liability insurance and company structuring. So product liability insurance is basically you getting insurance on your product. That way, if anyone sues your company or sues you, you have your product insured, and then that way you don't lose a lot of money. And product liability insurance is kind of iffy because you do not need to start with it. This is something that I would incorporate once your sales get going, and once the profit and money starts coming in, then you definitely want to include that into your business for protection. And also company structuring, which is you creating an LLC for your company. An LLC means limited liability company. Basically, that keeps you protected, once again, if anyone tries to sue you or your company, which is very, very unlikely, but just in case, we want to be covered. This is also something you can start later on once the money starts coming in, or you guys can start both these things right off the bat, but I didn't when I first started, so it's totally up to you guys and what kind of funding and budget you're working with. But both these things do not need to be done right away, but you should definitely think about them, and you should definitely know how to do them once the time is right. Next is going to be product research criteria and strategies. So you guys need to know all the different criteria. You need to know what a good product needs to have as criteria. So you need to know the certain weight it should be, the certain dimensions it should be, how many monthly sales it's getting, what the markets look like, how many reviews it's getting. All these different things, you guys need to check the markets for that. Also, sales price and what kind of product it is, and what the future looks like for the product, what the sales history looks like for the product. All these things, a ton of different things. Once again, I probably have 20 videos on this topic alone in my course for my private students. So do not underestimate product research, because if you guys want to find a good product, then you're going to need to know a lot of different strategies. That way you can incorporate all of them and have a higher chance of getting a nice product to sell. Now, the next one is going to be patent and trademark checking. So you need to know if your product is patented. If it is, then you can get sued for selling it. Patented basically means someone else has the rights to sell that product and you don't. So that means you need to check to make sure it's not patented, and there are certain websites and things you guys can do to do that. And also to check for trademarks. So when you guys are creating your business name, you need to know whether it is trademarked or not. Also, when you guys are creating your title or description or bullet points, you cannot include trademarked words. So you need to be able to know how to check that. Next one is going to be profit calculations and Amazon FBA fee structure. So profit calculations basically know how to break down a product idea and see if it's going to be profitable or not for you. And that means you need to know a ton of things about your product in order to properly calculate the profit for your product. And I'm going to give you guys some ideas, such as what the product sells for, how much PPC or advertising cost you're going to spend per product to sell. You can also include things like labeling, manufacturing, the shipping, any custom packaging if you have that, logo creation, anything like that. There is a lot to go over for the profit calculations. And in my course, I also include a template. That way you guys already have everything there for you, and all you have to do is plug in the numbers and it gives you the profit for the product. And then that also means you won't leave anything out, because if you leave anything out, then that will be very, very bad. An FBA fee structure is also something that you include in your profit calculations, because you got to know the different fees that Amazon's going to take from you. And there are 3 fees with 1 monthly fee. So 4 fees-ish in total, but only 3 are charged per unit. And the 4th fee is charged monthly, and it is a flat rate for everyone. So you guys need to know how the fees work and how to plug them into your profit calculations in order to make sure that you have a healthy and strong profit margin on your product. Next one is going to be shipping terms and options, and I kind of talked about this very briefly, and it seems like there are a million different shipping terms that you guys need to know, but I'm just kidding, it's not really a million. Maybe 20-ish terms that you guys need to know. You guys don't need to memorize them, but maybe just have it written down or have a course video that talks about it. That way you can look back on the video and see what they're talking about. So shipping terms, you're going to need to know them. Options, you guys need to know your options, whether you want to go with sea shipping or air shipping. What are the benefits? You guys need to know what freight forwarder you want to go for, how to negotiate on shipping, and how to get your prices down. And sometimes you guys can work with a certain freight forwarder that gives you better pricing. For my private students, they get my personal freight forwarder that I work with at a discounted rate. And they also break down all the different charges for you so you know that they're not ripping you off, and you get to see every single number broken down and even how much profit that they are taking from you in order to organize and ship everything. So that is pretty cool, and that is something that I offer to all my students. So make sure you guys know terms and options, and that way you guys get the best results. Next one is going to be supplier negotiation and communication, and this is something that you guys need to know how to do correctly, or else your supplier will not take you seriously. You will not be able to get your prices down. You will not be able to save money. And trust me, when you get your prices down, it will end up giving you a ton of profit in the long run because it really adds up. There are a lot of tactics and strategies when it comes to negotiation, and that's also something I teach to all of my private students. And then communication as well. I also give my personal template for inquiries, which is basically you asking the supplier a bunch of different questions when you want to work with them if you like the product that they're selling. So you got to know how to communicate with them because there are very specific things that you need to be saying and doing in order to be successful. Next one is going to be barcode and packaging requirements. And this one is also pretty complicated, kind of like shipping. It's just a lot you need to know, and it can be kind of confusing. That's why it is very important that you have someone helping you to make sure you don't mess anything up. And I have seen people mess up their barcodes, and it is not a fun situation, trust me. So make sure you guys know how to label things, what barcodes go where, because there are a few different terms and barcodes that you guys need to know, and it can get pretty confusing if you don't have someone helping you out. Also, packaging requirements. Amazon has certain requirements. For example, Amazon has certain requirements like certain barcodes need to be in certain places, or they can't be in certain places, or they have to be logoed on a certain type of material, or your packaging has to be a certain dimension, and if it's not a certain dimension, then you have to have another label on it, like a choking hazard label. And also, if you bundle products together, you need to have another label that says do not separate, sold as set, different things like that that you need to know. And if you don't know them, then you will end up regretting it later on, and that is not something that I want you guys to be doing. The next one is going to be product bundling. So you guys need to know how to bundle products. And if you guys don't know what bundling is, it's basically when you take two different products and put them into one package, or put them together and sell them as a set. And this is also very good if you guys want to differentiate yourself from the competition. Also, I should include that on this list. I didn't, but differentiation. So you guys need to know how to differentiate your product to look different than the competition and to be better than the competition in order to get sales. That way your product looks more appealing to the customer and you get more sales. But that is differentiation, and we are talking about product bundling. So make sure you guys know how to bundle if you're going to be bundling, and I highly recommend bundling for certain products. Now, that's it for that, and we will go on to the next one. The next one is going to be business name, logo, and packaging creation. So you guys need to know how to create a business name, what your business name should be, and also make sure it's not trademarked. That way you guys don't get in trouble. So you guys need to know what your logo should look like, how big it should be, how you send it to your supplier, also where you can get a logo created, how you can get one if you can do it yourself. All these different things you need to ask yourself, even small things like how many different colors will it have, because if it has more colors, then your supplier will charge you more money to print it onto your product because it requires more ink and different kinds of ink. So you need to know all these different pro tips that a lot of people don't tell you. Same as packaging creation, you need to know how many colors it's going to have, what certain things you need to include on it in order to get more sales. And you don't need to have a custom packaging. If you do have custom packaging, then it is something I like to call added product value. That way you look like your product is more valuable, but really it's just a custom packaging around a normal product. So those are different tactics that you guys can include, and that is 3 things that you need to know how to do correctly. And don't oversimplify any of these things or else you will mess up. You need to make sure you know how to do every single one of these things correctly. The next one is going to be shipping plan creation, and I kind of talked about this earlier, but you need to know how to get onto Amazon, Seller Central, and create a shipping plan. It can be pretty confusing if you do not know what you're doing, but that's pretty self-explanatory. So know how to create a shipping plan. Next one is going to be setting up Amazon seller account, and this one I get get a lot of questions on because a lot of people get confused about what certain information they need to enter in certain places. So know how to create an Amazon seller account as well. Next one is going to be Amazon Seller Central navigation. So Amazon Seller Central is basically the main website that you're going to go for everything when it comes to selling on Amazon as an Amazon seller. And you need to know how to navigate the website because there's a lot of different important things like pulling your reports, getting sales reports, getting PPC reports, also seeing if you have any messages or any complaints, anything like that. You need to know how to navigate that website in order to make sure that everything is running smoothly and how to check up on everything. Next one we already kind of talked about, that's going to be product listing creation and optimization. So you need to know all these different things like your title, your bullet points, your pictures, and specifically what you're going to put in your bullet points and how you make the bullet points and how you make your title and what should be included in your title and also what should be in your pictures, what they should look like. And there are certain key things that you need to put into pictures in order to market correctly to your consumer. Okay, the next one is going to be creating product variations. And I'm sorry if I sound tired. It is currently 3:30 in the morning and I'm getting a lot of work done since it is the holiday season. So I'm pretty much half alive right now. So I'm going to go ahead and fight through this and try to get it done for you guys. So the next one, like I said, is going to be creating product variations. So if you guys have different variations of a product, that means different colors, different sizes, different shapes, I guess. Like if you have say you're selling a mask for Halloween and you have different kinds of masks or different colors of the mask or different sizes of the mask, you need to create different variations for all those different colors and sizes. So know how to do that as well. The next one's going to be removing hijackers and maintaining the buy box. So you can have something called a hijacker on your listing. It's when someone tries to steal your product and you need to know how to remove them. It's not that hard if you know how to do it. And I also include a cease and desist letter for all my private students. And that letter is basically something that you send to the hijacker and it will scare them away because it's basically a legal document in order to scare them. And if that doesn't work, then you contact Amazon Seller Support, and I also teach how to do that as well in my course. Maintaining buy box. Buy box is basically when the seller buys a product, who is getting the sale. So if you have a hijacker on your listing, you want to make sure that you have the buy box above the hijacker. That way you get the sale and they don't for the meantime while you are trying to get them removed. So that is also important to know if you guys get in that situation. But once again, it is pretty rare and it does not happen to most people. Next one's going to be PPC campaigns. So you guys need to know how to run a PPC campaign. It is basically Amazon's way of advertising on the Amazon.com website. PPC means pay-per-click. So pay-per-click advertising. That means you pay a certain bid that you requested and you can have a daily budget. So you could say, hey, I want to spend $15 a day at 50 cents a click. So that way, every time someone clicks on your sponsored listing, you're spending 50 cents and it will go all the way to $15. And once it hits $15, then it will stop for the day. So you guys can adjust certain things like that. And PPC campaigns are pretty complicated. You need to know how to do them correctly because you need to know how to optimize them. If you don't, then you'll be wasting your money on the advertisement itself. So very important that you know how to do that. Next one is going to be Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and influencer marketing. So you need to know how to run Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and you need to know how to contact influencers and pay them for certain marketing if they post your product on their website or they post a product on their Instagram account or their Facebook and then they show all their followers. And usually you want to reach out to influencers that have above 20,000 followers. That way you're getting your product in front of a lot of different eyes. And usually it's about $20 to pay an influencer to have your product posted for about 24 hours. That way you get everyone to see it and then you get a lot of buys off of that one $20 ad basically. So Facebook ads are pretty complicated if you don't know how to do them. Instagram ads are done on Facebook because Facebook owns Instagram. Same kind of deal, pretty complicated if you don't know how to do it. And then influencer marketing is not too hard, but you need to know what influencers to contact and what your ad should look like in order to get a good conversion rate for your product. Next one is going to be creating product promotions. So you guys need to know how to run promotions. So for Christmas or the holiday season or for Halloween or anything like that, you guys can run a promotion for your product and give a special discount out. You can also do like buy one, get one free, or you can do percentages off. There's a bunch of different options you guys have. So you guys need to know how to do that if you guys want to run a promotion for your product, which I highly recommend, especially if you do a giveaway at some point, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. Next one is going to be paid reviews. So if you guys want to get reviews right off the bat, right when you create your product, you're going to need to do paid reviews. So it's basically where you pay someone a certain price or you give them a refund for your product. So they basically get your product for free. In return, they give you a review and they review your product product with a 5-star and leave a nice comment. And that way you get to a certain amount of reviews and your product looks like it has what we call social proof. And if your product has social proof, then it means it will be more likely that other customers will buy it organically without paying them. And that means more money for you. And I understand that a lot of this probably sounds confusing, but once again, this is why a lot of people don't tell you about this stuff. And I am telling you about this stuff because I don't want you guys to act like you don't know what you're getting into. I want to make sure that you guys know exactly everything you need to know before you actually jump into this business. And once again, very important that you have a mentor or a course or something like that, because a lot of people take that for granted, and it is very, very valuable if you want to be successful. Because I can promise you that you will have multiple questions along the way. And if you guys don't have someone to ask, then it is going to be very difficult for you guys to do this on your own. Also, for paid reviews, there are about 11 different rules that I teach in my course, and you need to follow all 11 rules or else it puts your seller account at risk, because Amazon actually does not like when you do this. You need to know how to follow all 11 rules. You need to know how to get into the certain Facebook groups. And my private course also comes with a Facebook group for all my students to interact with each other and get reviews from each other. That way it's safe as possible. The next one we're going to talk about is going to be product inserts. So this is something that you can include into your product packaging. That way when your customer opens their product package, they get an insert inside, and it will have some basic information about your company, where they can go if they have a question or if they want to do a return, different things like that. And it will definitely help you guys get more reviews and also better feedback. Next, you need to know how to do email marketing. That way you guys can increase your reviews and get better reviews. So that means you set up a email automation system. That way when someone purchases a product from you, they automatically get an email requesting a review for a follow-up or asking how the product is working, anything like that. It will definitely help your business and help you get more reviews. The more reviews, the more sales. So you guys can understand why we want to do that. Next one is going to be product giveaways. And now this is something that you want to do in order to increase your BSR, and that is your best seller rank. So we want to increase our seller rank. That way we show up higher up when someone searches for our product. So if we're selling pens, when someone types in pen, we want our listing to be as high up as possible. That way they can see it at the very top. So product giveaways are going to increase our ranking to get us higher up on the first page, hopefully the first page. And that way we get more sales organically without paying for advertisement. Once again, sounds complicated. A lot goes into it. It is complicated, so make sure that you know what you're doing. Next one's going to be contacting Amazon seller support. Now, everyone who is an Amazon seller knows that it is a headache to contact Amazon seller support. So there are a few tips that I teach to all my private students in order to contact them more efficiently and get your issue solved more effectively as well. Next one's going to be products to stay away from. So there are certain categories, certain restricted products, certain gated categories that you want to stay away from. And if you do sell one of these products, then you will get your listing removed, or you will get in trouble, or you will get sued. So you guys need to know what products to stay away from as well if you want to be successful. Now the next one is going to be taxes, and this is a very complicated topic, especially depending on if you guys are in different countries or different states. So this is something that you guys need to work with someone one-on-one and really know how to do taxes and how it's going to work for you specifically, because everyone's going to be different. And the last one before I pass out is going to be bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is where you keep track of your sales, and there are different websites that can do this for you, or you can do it yourself. In my course, I also teach you how to do it yourself if you guys want to save the money. So bookkeeping, you keep track of your sales and your PPC campaigns and your advertisement costs and all these different things. That way you can really see how much you're profiting, how much you're making. And I also include a template to all my students. That way they can just plug in their numbers on the template I created, and it just shows them everything already. Okay, so that's the end of the video. I am about to fall asleep. It is 3:40 in the morning. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope you did, actually, because I stayed up pretty late making this. If you guys haven't already, go down below, hit the like button if you learned anything new. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get notified every time I upload a new video. And last but not least, go down below, leave me a comment. Let me know if you subscribed. Also, let me know if you have any questions, and I respond to every single comment. That's it for this video, guys. I will see you guys in the next video, or I will see you guys if you guys are emailing me right here, askrileyturner@gmail.com, to get into my private course or get my personal mentorship. That's it. I'll see you guys in the next video.